Hello everyone, I am Ashwini Sheth here to present our today's session on database management system under TechCrunch, which is organized by ICS College Khed. So let's start our session of database management system. Let's begin our session with the introduction to the database. First of all, we have to see that what is meant by database and what is meant by database management system. A database is a collection of related data which represents some real world aspects, or a database is a systematic collection of data. That means we have to store the data in a particular format, and we store that data in a computer devices or computerized devices. And that's why we have to retrieve that data from the particular system when we need. And a database management system is a system software for creating, maintaining, and managing the databases. A DBMS makes it possible for the end users to create, read, update, and delete the data in a database. That means we have to use the database management systems to create the database and maintain that database, or we have to manage that database with the help of the database management system. There is a small difference between database and database management system. In today's world, small companies or big organization needs to store their data in a particular format. At every point, data is generated and it is needed to save that data at particular location or in particular database. That's why that companies or organizations can retrieve the data when they need, and when they use that data for the particular works. So see the example in this image. There is an example, that is website code, DBMS, and database. This is related to your projects, just like third year students can develop their projects, but they don't know what is the difference between database and database management system. See here, there is a website code. There are different types of languages that are used to develop the website code. This is example. PHP, Ruby, Perl, Python, or another different types of languages, just like ASP.NET with C#, C++, C++, normal C, C++. That languages are used to develop any type of project or any type of website. And by using that website, we store the data into the database. That means suppose there is a form, that is a registration form, then the customer or any employee can fill the form, just like suppose there is an employee form, they stores the data just like employee ID, employee name, employee address, mobile number, that are filled up by that website form which is developed, and that data is stored in the database just like using employee table. Here in this database, it contains products, customers, orders, tables, and we have to store that data in the database from the website code to the database with the help of DBMS. That means database management system. Here one of the most usable and most of the likes given to the MySQL database management system. That means most of the users can use the MySQL database for developing the projects or websites. This is the simple example. That is, by using website code, we have to develop any project or website, and by using DBMS, database management system, we have to convert the data which comes from the website code to the database. And in database, the data is stored in the format of tables. That means there are different types of models that are used to store the data in the database. We have to see in this session. Next. Next part is applications of DBMS. Applications of DBMS are really greatest That means there are different types of application in different areas DBMS is used. We have to see few of them. First one is banking. In banking sector, database management system is used for the different purposes. Just like in banking sector, DBMS is used to store the customer information, account activities, payments, deposits, loans, etc. That means different types of informations is stored. Informations are stored in the banking database. That means suppose customers are goes into the bank and they do the transactions into the bank, then that transactions are updated in the database. Then next application is airlines. In airlines sector, database management system is used to store the information or data related to the airline reservations or their schedules. Then universities. In universities, database is used to store the information related to the students, course registrations, college registrations, grades, examinations, student results. All that types of informations are stored in the university's database. For example, when students comes into the college for the admission of first year, then they can fill up the admission form of university. Then after the fill up of that form, the data of that particular student is registered into the university's database. That means that data goes to the university database. Then next one is telecommunication. Telecommunication sector, database is used to keep call records, monthly bills, maintaining balances, etc. Then finance. In finance sector, DBMS is used for storing information about stocks, sales and purchases of financial instruments like stocks and bonds. The next one is sales. In sales, DBMS is used for storing customer, product and sales information and another different types of information, just like stock information. That means how many products are in stock or how many products wants to buy from the sellers of another. The next one is manufacturing. In manufacturing area, DBMS is used for the management of supply chain and for tracking production of items. Then our next slide is RDBMS versus DBMS. RDBMS means Relational Database Management System and DBMS means Database Management System. There is a difference between RDBMS and DBMS. Relational data, what is meant by relational database management system? We have to see this difference between these points. Then you have to understand what are the RDBMS and DBMS. First of all, structure. Their first structure difference is in database management system, data is stored in the hierarchical format. That means it's just like a hierarchy. That means parent-child relationship. That types of structure is called as hierarchical structure. And in RDBMS, RDBMS means Relational Database Management System, which contains the tabular format or tabular data. That means we have to store the data in the table format. Table in database management system, tables are also called as relation, and that's why it is called as Relational Database Management System. This is the main first difference between relation RDBMS and DBMS. That is, DBMS store the data in hierarchical format and Relational Database Management System stores the data in the tabular format. The next main difference between RDBMS and DBMS is user capacity. User capacity, under DBMS, only one user can access the database at a time. And in RDBMS, more than one user can access the database at a time. That means, for example, there is an organization. Then In that organization, only one user or only one employee can access the database at a time in DBMS. But in RDBMS, in an organization, more than one employee can access the database at a time. This is the plus point of the RDBMS, because in an organization, more than one employee can work at a time. That's why it is useful more than DBMS. The next one is software and hardware requirements. In DBMS, software and hardware requirements is low, but in RDBMS, software and hardware requirement is high. The next one is program managed. In DBMS maintains database within the computer network and system hard disk, and in RDBMS manages the relationship between its incorporated tables of data. The next one is data capacity. Data capacity means in DBMS data is stored at low point, but in RDBMS data capacity is high and we have to store the data in big format, or we have to store the data in the unlimited amount format. That means we have to store the data unlimited in RDBMS, but in DBMS we have to store the limited data. Then next one is distributed database. DBMS doesn't support for the distributed databases, but RDBMS supports for the distributed databases. That means database is distributed in RDBMS but doesn't in DBMS. These are the differences between RDBMS and DBMS. After that, you have to understand what is meant by RDBMS. That means we have to store the data in the tabular format. Then RDBMS contains the multiple users access at a time. Then programs are highly managed or easily managed in RDBMS. Then we have to store the data unlimited in RDBMS, and it supports for the distributed databases. Then let's move towards next point. Top database softwares. In today's world, there are different types of database softwares available in the market, but few of them are highly used by the users or in companies or organizations, or the developer. They can develop their projects by using different types of database softwares. Few of them you can see here in this image, which contains MySQL, SQLite, CoachDB, AmazonDB, Oracle, Firebird, OrientDB, Neo4j, MongoDB. Here is Cassandra, MariaDB, Microsoft SQL Server. Most of the favorite and useful database systems are here: MySQL, SQL Server, SQLite, Oracle. In educational field, most of the students can use MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle to develop their projects. You know that what is MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle. We have to use that database and we have to connect that database into our application or our project. And before you develop your projects, you may know that how that databases are used or how that databases are handled. First of all, we have to see overall introduction about that particular database softwares. First of all, we have to see MySQL. MySQL is an open source relational database and which runs on a number of different platforms. It supports for the Linux, Windows and Mac OS, and we have to use different types of languages with MySQL, which contains C, Java, SQL, C++, Perl, Python, TCL and PHP. That means you can develop your projects in these languages using MySQL database, and it contains its cloud version. Here you have to see the platforms, languages and cloud version. It supports cloud version. Then these are the languages and it supports on any Linux, Windows and Mac OS. In Linux, you have to use any of the distribution of Linux operating system. And that's why MySQL is easily handled, and most of the students or users can use the MySQL database. Next one is Microsoft SQL Server. SQL Server is RDBMS, that means Relational Database Management System. SQL Server is RDBMS and it is developed by the Microsoft. SQL Server supports ANSI SQL, which is the standard SQL language, that means structured query language. Then SQL Server provides integration of structured and unstructured data with the power of SQL Server, and it offers advanced security features to protect your data. That means security is provided to the data which is stored in the SQL Server. Then SQL Server supports for the platforms on Windows, Ubuntu, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, and Red Hat Enterprise Server. Here, Ubuntu, SUSE, Red Hat, these are the distributions of the Linux operating system. It also supports for the Windows operating system. And we have to use different types of languages, just like C, C++, Java, and C#. That means you have to develop your projects from these languages by using Microsoft SQL Server, and it supports for the cloud version. Then we have to move to our next database system, Oracle. Oracle is self-preparing, self-securing, and self-driving, designed to eliminate manual data management. It is an intelligent, secure, and highly available database in the cloud that helps you to grow your business. Oracle Cloud is optimized for high performance database workloads, streaming workloads, and hyperscale big data. Then the Oracle can support for the platforms for Windows and Linux, and it supports the languages just like C++, COBOL, C, Java, Visual Basic, and PLSQL, and it contains its cloud version. Oracle also provides the services based on how you like to operate in order to run Oracle Cloud in your data center. So let's move towards the next database management system, which is Apache CouchDB. CouchDB is an open source software that is based on the common standards to access your important data. Also, it stores data on your server or with a leading service providers of your choice. Also, CouchDB enables you to run a logical database server on any virtual machines. And it works with external tools just like load balancer, HTTP, and proxy servers. And it is a cross-platform database management system, and it supports for the languages just like Java, Python, C++, Perl, C, JavaScript, PHP, etc. But it does not have its cloud version, which contains CouchDB. Next one is SQLite. SQLite is an open source embedded relational database management system. SQLite is a very lightweight database management system as compared to the SQL Server or Oracle. That means it is very lightweight as compared to the other database management systems. It has an in-memory library that you can call and use directly without installation or configuration. That means it contains its own library that are not installed by externally. That means in most of the database management system, packages are installed or libraries are installed externally. But SQLite contains its inbuilt memory or inbuilt library files or a package. Or in SQLite, you do not need to dedicate any server to store the database. That means you don't have to use another server to store the data. Then SQLite platforms are these: BlackBerry, Symbian, Android, Migo, FreeBSD, Windows, Tizen, and it supports the languages just like C, C Sharp, C++, Java, PHP, Python, Ruby, etc. And it also contains its cloud version. Then next one is MariaDB. MariaDB is a fork of the MySQL database management system. This DBMS tool provides data processing capabilities for both small and enterprise tasks. It comes with many storage engines, including the high-performance ones that can be integrated with other relational database management systems. Then it supports for the platforms just like Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. And it supports the languages just like C Sharp, Java, C++, Python. Then MariaDB have its cloud version. Then next one is Neo4j. Neo4j is an open source NoSQL graph database implemented in the database. It saves your data in graphs rather than in tables. This is different from the other database management system we have to see. That means suppose we have to use Oracle or SQL, Microsoft SQL Server, then that data is stored in the SQL format. That means in a tabular format. There are two types, that is SQL and NoSQL. SQL means we have to store the data in the table format, but in NoSQL, the data is not stored in the format of table. We have to store that data in any format, just like document format, graphs format. Here, Neo4j can store your data in the graphical format, not in the format of tables. Also, NoSQL contains data is stored in the documented format. So these are the SQL and NoSQL databases. Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, PostDB, or another databases can store, database management system stores the data in the tabular format. That means SQL format. But in NoSQL, there are different types which can store the data in the document format or graphical format or a graphs format. Here, Neo4j can store the data in the graphs format. It is a cross-platform database management system, and it supports for the languages just like Java, SQL query language, JavaScript, etc. And it also supports its cloud version. So let's move towards the next slide, which is database model. We have to see the all different top database softwares. Then which is next point is database models. Database models gives us an idea how the final system will look like after its complete implementation. I am giving here one example of the building. The building is made by developed by the engineer, and that engineer can develop the building using the structure of that particular building designed by the design architecture. That means when the building is complete after its development, then that building is look just like the design which is designed by the architecture. That means firstly architecture design done, and after that the main building can be constructed. Then the constructed building is looking just same like the design which is designed by the architecture. That means first we have to that architecture design the architecture design the structure of that building, and after that the engineer can develop that building or construct that building just same like that architecture. Here database models are same. That means we have to store our data into the database. Then how that data is looks like. That means we have to give the models. There are different types of models that are used in the database models. just like hierarchical model, network model, relational model, object oriented data model. These data models are used to show how data is stored, connected, accessed, and updated in the database management system. Here we use a set of symbols and text to represent the information so the members of the organization can communicate and understand it. We have to see the models: hierarchical model, network model, and relational model. These are the mostly used database models. That's why I am taking here hierarchical model, network model, and relational model. We have to see one by one. First of all, we have to see hierarchical model. In hierarchical model, data is organized in a tree-like structures. Here see an example. This contains the structure just like a tree. In hierarchical model, data is stored in the top-down or bottom-up approach. That means top to down or bottom to up. Here, this structure contains the top-down approach. In hierarchical model, data is representing using the parent-child relationship. Here, in this example, college is a parent of department and infrastructure. Or we have to say that department and infrastructure are the childs of the college. Same like here, department is a parent of course, teachers, and students. And course is a parent of theory and labs. In hierarchical model, child contains only one parent. That means childs are related to only one parent. That means one parent have multiple childs, but childs have only one parent. This structure is used in the hierarchical model. And in most of the database management system uses the hierarchical model to store the data in the database. Then our next model is network model. In network model, data is stored with the connected parents and connected childs and parents. Here in network model, data is stored with many to many relationship format. That means here in this example, A is the parent of B1 and B2. And here you have to see that C2. C2 has a child of B1 and B2. That means we have to see in hierarchical format, there is only one parent for the child. But in network model, any child have more than one parent and that are connected with each other. And that's why it is easy to find out the data which is stored in the database at any point because of the network model. This model just look like a tree. You have to see the binary trees or another different types of trees. That means they move from any location to another location in that graph. This structure is same like that graph structure, and that's why entities can move from one to another entity. I can say what is meant by entity in our next slides. What is entities and how to develop the entities in these slides. So let's move towards our next model, and this is the most important and usable model which can be used by the different database management system, which is called as relational model. Before the first or second slide, I can say that tables are also called as relations in database management system. Here you have to see the example, and after that you have to understand what is meant by relational model. Relation means table, and in relational model, data is stored in the tabular format, and it is easy to the user to use that data, access that data, or store the data into the database when it will be stored in the relational format or table format. Relational model stored in fixed structure and manipulating using SQL. And SQL most of the support the relational model or tabular format. And here you have to see the tables, student table and subject table. And we have to retrieve the data easily from the table format. And that's why relational model is used. Here you have to see the example. There are the two tables and we have to create our another third table by using the columns of that particular two tables. That is student ID here and subject ID from here. And we have to generate our next column marks separately. That means we have to use the columns of the another tables in the relational model, and it is easy to the users to use that columns easily from that particular table to the new table. These are the models, which is hierarchical model, network model, and relational model. You have to use one of the structure to your projects to develop your application or desktop application or website application. That means most of the useful model is relational model, and that's why I will prefer you to use the relational model in your projects or applications. So let's move towards what is the ER model. Entity relationship model, relational model is a high-level conceptual data model diagram. ER modeling helps you to analyze data requirements systematically to produce a well-designed database. The entity relation model represents real-world entities and the relationship between them. That means how your database looks like, which is overcome from the ER model. And it is important to develop the ER model before you can develop your projects database or your applications database, because database is developed by using the ER diagram. Then we have to see how ER diagram draws or how we can use the ER diagram in our project. And for that, we have to see the components of the ER diagram. First component of the entity relationship diagram, which is entities. That means, suppose one student can develop the project, but that student doesn't understand how to develop the project or how to develop the database. For that, there is a need to find out the entities, attributes, and relations which is maintained in their project. And that's why your project or your database is easily formatted or easily created. And before that, you have to understand this ER diagram. And its components are entities. Entities is any aspect, just like your person. For example, we have to take the example here. In a school database, student, teachers, classes, and courses offered can be considered as an entity. Here we have to take the example school database. There is a school, then information related to the student, staff, library, or another courses, lectures, all that types of information are stored in the database, and these are called as the entities. For example, we have to take here a student. Student is an entity. Teachers is an entity which is the table which contains in the database. For example, there is a student, then we have to develop the table in our database naming as a student, and in that student table we have to store the different columns that are related to our next component, which is attribute. Here you can see, and after finding out the entities, we have to move towards the attributes. In this example, you have to see that here student is an entity, then their attributes are name, class, and age. That means student is the column table name, and attributes mean its columns, just like name, class, and age. And we have to mention different types of attributes related to the entities. And third component is relationships. Here you have to see the example. An employee works at a department and a student enrolls in a college. Here, works at is a relationship between employee and department entity, and enrolls is is a relationship between student and a course. And you have to see all the components here in this slide, which is entities, attributes, and relationships. And before creating the database, we may know that how are the entity relationship diagram, and after that we have to convert that ER diagram into our database or in database tables. You can understand here what is the entities, attributes, and relationship. Here I am given here the example of the student. Student is an entity, then its attributes are name, class, age, uh, gender. These are the attributes of the student entity. And relationship means student can enroll in a course table. That means course entity and student entity. Here we have to see an example of ER diagram in our next slide. These are the entities, attributes, and relationship. Then let's move towards the next slide. Types of attributes. There are different types of attributes available in the entity relationship diagram, and by using that types, we can easily develop our database from that particular format of the attributes. First one is simple attribute. Second one is simple attributes means there are only simple attributes, just like student, then its name, class, gender. These are the simple attributes. Then second one is composite attributes. We have to see one by one in our next slides. Single valued attributes, multi-valued attributes, derived attributes, and key attributes. We have to see one by one in our next slides. First one is simple attribute and composite attributes. Simple attributes contains here student is an entity. That means we have to create our student table, and it contains the columns roll number, class, and age. In simple attribute, it contains only the fields or attributes, which is normal. And in composite attribute, here student is an entity and it contains roll number, address, and name. Name contains another sub attributes, just like first name, middle name, last name. And address also divided into the sub attributes, just like street, city, country, state. That means these are dividable and divided into another attributes. Roll number is simple attribute, but in address and name, these are the composite attributes. Next one is single valued attributes and multi-valued attributes. Here we have to take one example in all attributes. Here student is an entity. It contains roll number, age, date of birth, gender. Single valued attribute is same like a simple attribute. And in multi-valued attribute, it is shown by the double circles or double ellipse type circles, which contains mobile number and email ID. That means one person or one student have more than one mobile numbers or mobile cards, and that's why we have to store that two numbers in the database. And then we have to use the mobile number as a multi-valued attribute. And when we have to develop the ER diagram by using this type of attributes, then we have to understand that when we develop our database or create our database, then we have to do the format of mobile number as a multi-valued attributes. That means we have to store more than one mobile numbers in the database. This is useful in the database creation. Next, our attributes are derived attributes and key attributes. Here, student is an entity. Here, in this example, age is a derived attribute. That means Age is not directly counted. Age is counted from the date of birth. That means age is collected from the date of birth, and that's why it is derived attribute. And in key attribute, roll number is a key attribute, and it is located by giving the underline behind the attribute name. Here we have to give the roll number, and after that it contains the underline behind it, uh, which contains the key attribute. These are the different types of attributes and that are used in the ER model. Then, which symbols are used in the entity relationship diagram? Entities are represented by this symbol, which contains rectangular shape. The next one is attributes. Attributes are represented by this ellipse type circle. We have to see from the back slides, which contains the different types of attributes, multi-valued attributes, how to represent the multi-valued attributes, key attributes. Relationships are represented by this diamond like symbol. Links, that means entities are connected with attributes, or entities are connected with another entity by using these links. Then multi-valued attribute represented by this circle. Then key attributes are represented by this type of circle, and it contains the underline before the attribute name. Next one is one of the example of company ER model. We have to collect here the entities employee, department, and project. Employee, department, and project, these are the entities, and in this employee contains the attributes employee number, name, and salary. Just like department contains the attributes department number, name, and location. All these are the simple attributes, but in that employee number, department number, and project number, these are the key attributes because it contains the underlines. Okay, then employee and department, these entities are connected with the relationships by using works for. That means employee works for department and department controls the project. That means this connection is maintained in the database when we have to create our database. And by using this ER model, we can easily understand that we have to develop three tables in the database which contains employee, department, and project. In employee table, we have to develop three columns: employee number, name, and salary. Then department table contains the columns department number, name, and location. And just like the project number and name. And it is easy to the user to develop database easily. And that's why I recommend to the students to develop the ER model before develop their projects, because it is useful for you to develop easily your database. Then next one is conversion of ER diagram into table. Here one of the example, student, which contains roll number, name, and gender. Here student is converted into the table name which contains student, then roll number, name, and gender. These are the columns. And after creating the database, your ER diagram is converted into this format, just like table, and it contains, we have to save the records into the table, and it looks like this in your database. This is the main step into the development of the project or development of the database, that is ER diagram into table. Okay, then next part we have to cover here, what are keys in the database. It is the most important part, which is keys. Keys in DBMS is an attribute or set of attributes which help to identify row in a in a relationship. Here rows are also called as tuple and relations are also called as a table, that or tables are also called as a relations. Then by using the keys, they allow you to find the relation between the two tables. Keys help you uniquely identify a row in a table by combination of one or more columns in that table. That means we have to connect one column of one table into the another column of another table. That means we can share the columns to the table to table by using the keys. Key is also helpful for finding unique records or row from the table. That means the records are uniquely identified from the database tables by using the keys. There are different types of keys available in database management system, but mainly used keys are primary key and foreign key. Here we have to see one example, employee table. It contains employee ID, first name and last name. Here employee ID contains the primary key. Here is an underline but it doesn't show here. Employee ID contains the primary key. Then it can insert the record uniquely. That means it doesn't take any duplicated value. That means employee IDs are unique. And it is useful for the unique record saving into the database. Then we can move towards the SQL commands. There are different SQL commands available. SQL is the standard language for database management systems. All the RDBMS systems like Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, MS Access, Oracle, Sybase, Postgres, all uses SQL as their standard database language. That means all that RDBMS systems SQL to develop their databases. Then there are mainly 5 types used for SQL commands, which is data definition language, data manipulation language, data control language, transaction control language, and data query language. These are the SQL command languages. Most of the student doesn't understand what are DDL, DML, DCL, TCL or DQL. These SQL commands are used in any applications or in any database management system, but this format of that commands are same in all the database management system. Suppose most of the students wants to develop their project in SQL Server or in Oracle. Queries are same. SQL queries are same. Suppose create table command. Create table command is same is in Oracle or SQL Server. So we have to see one by one these SQL commands shortly, and we have to show how it's practically works in our day 3 session. So let's move towards our commands. SQL commands under DDL, data definition language, which contains create, drop, alter, truncate. Data definition language or DDL commands are related to the structure of the table. That means how table looks like or how is the structure of the table, which is defined by the DDL statements or DDL commands. Then second one is data manipulation language. It is related to the data which is stored in the particular table or the database, which contains the commands just like insert, update, delete. That means after creating the table, we have to insert the data into the table by using the insert command. We have to update the data, insert the data, update the data or delete the data from the table. Then DCL is related to the data control language, which contains the grant and revoke commands. Then next one is TCL, transaction control language, which contains the commands just like commit, rollback, save point. And last but not the least, which is DQL, which contains the select command, and most of the database works by using this command, which is select command. Because suppose you have to open any website on the internet, or you have to develop your application, and we design the form just like customer, then you can get the fields just like customer id text box, then customer name text box, customer address text box, and another fields on this on the form, and you get the button here, save button, or insert update button or delete button. Then in the field of save button, you can use the insert command. And for example, if you want to find out any record from the database of the customer, for example, I want to find out the customer name just like dash dash dash, or I want to find out the customer which contains the ID 102. Then I have to click on the search button, and behind that search button select command is used, and that's why it will select the record from the database which contains the customer id 102. And it is mostly important to know that what are the SQL commands. These commands are used in any database management system. You can use any application, or you can use any database management system. Command formats are same, which is first one, data definition language. Here we have to see one by one commands. Data definition languages, which contains create, alter, drop, truncate. Create command is used to create a new table in the database. When database is created, then first of all, which query is used? Create. Create command is firstly used because without creating the table, we can't store the data into the database. That means data is stored in the table format because we have to use the relational model or tabular format, which is easy to understandable or useful. That's why first of all, which command is create command. And by using the create command, we have to create the structure of the table. That means suppose we want to create the student table, then we have to use the create table command with student as a table name, and it contains the column names just like roll number, name, class. We have to see this in our day 3 session, how to actually execute that command. Then second command is alter. Alter command is used to alter the structure of the database. After creating the database or tables, some of the points are neglectable, or we have to don't want that columns in that table, then we have to alter that table structure. That means it is related to the structure of the table. That means suppose we want to delete any column from the particular table, or suppose we want to add another new column, then we have to use the alter command. Suppose there is a student table and there are only 3 fields, roll number, name, and class, and I want to add another column which contains the gender. Then that gender column is added by using the alter command. That's why we doesn't need to use the create command again. Then next command is drop. Drop command is used to delete both the structure and record stored in the table. Here there are 2 queries or commands, that is drop and delete. We have to see delete command in our next statement. Drop is related to the structure and record. That means it is completely remove the structure of the table from the database. Then next one is truncate. Truncate it is used to delete all the rows from the table and free the space containing the table. The truncate is also used to delete the rows from the table. Suppose we want to delete any record from the table. Records are stored in the format of rows. That's why here it is given that rows from the table, and it free up the space which is used by that particular table in the database memory. These are the data definition languages. So let's move towards our next SQL statements, which is data manipulation language. These are the most important statements, which is insert, update, and delete. Suppose you can use in your application as a save button or submit button. Behind that button, insert query is used. Suppose you have to use the delete button. Behind that delete button, delete query is used. Suppose there is update or a updating command, and behind that update button, update query is used. These format of the commands are same in any database management system, but you know that which command is used in which tags or which buttons. In that, insert command is used to insert data into the row of a table. That means data is inserted into the table by using the insert command. Then update command is used to update or modify the value of a column in the table. For example, in the any shop, there is the software of that particular shop, and the customer comes into the shop, and it will get the product from the shop, and it will get the bill from the particular shop. Then there is a mistake to give the bill to that particular customer. Suppose the price of the particular product is 100 rupees, but the bill generate by using the price as a 90 rupees. Then it will be recovered from the database by using the update command. That means we have the shop manager can generate the another bill by using the product price as a 100 rupees and update the bill, and it will give to the customer. And this it is useful because of update command. And next one is delete command. Delete command is used to remove one or more row from a table. It will delete the records from the table. It doesn't delete the structure of the table. That means whole table is not deleted by using the delete command. It only delete the records or rows from the table. Then move towards our next, which is data control language. Data control language includes commands like grant and revoke, which are useful to give rights and permissions to the database. That means which users can access the database, which are the permissions to access that particular database. Here are two commands, grant and revoke. Grant command is used to give user access privileges to a database. User access means how to give the access to the users, and privileges means what? There are different types of privileges, just like read privilege, write privilege, execute privilege. That means there is the permission, just like the user can only read the database, the user can write the records in the database or execute the database. And next one is revoke. Revoke is used to take back permissions from the user. That means permissions are given to the user by using grant command, and the permissions are get back or take back from the revoke command from the user by using the revoke command. Then next statements are transaction control language. Transaction control language commands deals with the transaction within the database. That means we have to do the transactions between the database that are use the commands commit, rollback, and save point. Commit command is used to save all the transactions to the database. That means we have to do any transaction, then that transaction is immediately saved into the database when we can execute the commit command. Suppose we have to do the whole day work on that particular database, and at the end of the day we can execute the commit command. Then all the transactions or the work which is done into the database is saved or stored in the database by using the commit command. That means, suppose we have to use the Microsoft Word. After that, we have to save. We have to click on the save button. After that, all the work which is done in our document, which is saved on the particular device. But when we don't have click on the save button, it will be removed from the database. Just like that, in the database, the transaction, not the data. Transactions are saved into the database by executing the commit command. Next one is rollback. Rollback command is used to undo transactions that have not already been saved to the database. That means undo. It is related to the undo feature. Undo transactions that have not already been saved to the database. For example, I can execute the 4 commands, and after that I execute the commit command. Then that 4 transactions or 4 commands are saved into the database. After that commit command, I can execute another 5 commands or 5 queries, and after that I will execute the rollback command. Then that commands are not to be saved into the database because I can execute the rollback query. And next one is save point. Save point is used to roll the transaction back to a certain point. Last but not the least, data query language, which can be used to fetch the data from the database. And for that, it uses the select command. Select command is used to extract data from the database. And it is also used to select the data attribute based on the condition described by the where clause. There are most important command, which is select, because we have to get the data from the database with the help of select command, or we have to retrieve the data from the database. Suppose I want to show all the students which can store the data into the student table of the college database. Then I can execute the select star from student. Then it will retrieve all the records of the student from the particular database. This is extract data from the database. And this sentence meaning means what? Where clause. Suppose I want to find out the record of the particular student which have the name Ashish. Then I will give the command as a select star from student where name is equal to Ashish in double quote. Just like simple example. Then it will retrieve only the rows or the records from the database which have the particular condition. That means name is Ashish. And it is very useful for the database systems to retrieve the data from the system by using the select command. And most of the student doesn't understand how to use that select command or how to get the use of that particular select command in our application. So I recommend to the student, you can use the different uses of the select command, and you can develop your application very